All right. So recorded now. So what we're going to go through today is just the functionality of Corridor Go and what you would use it for, how to set it up, and the major features of what's involved in this mobile app. So this is a mobile app that is designed for the technician and the team leads. So we may do mobile apps for other functions later, but this one, Corridor Go, is focused to help the technician be a little bit more efficient and the team leads to see more visibility into the operation. These mobile apps are able to use on iOS, tablet. It's a web, or in the Galaxy, it's a web application. So you don't have to download anything. So anything that you have a browser typically goes on, but we recommend Chrome, Firefox, or Apple iOS for functionality. So as the technician, we're going to break this down into two different areas. One is the technician, and then one is what the team lead would see. So when a technician comes in, they would take a tablet, and they would log in with their same corridor credentials that they would do to log into the main corridor. Now, I'm logged into the app as well as Corridor Main here under the same username password. You could have both open at once, and it only consumes one license. We find a lot of people like some of the functionalities, the search functionalities, and the ease of use of the mobile app, so they have it open both screens even when they're on a desktop. Now,
hey Don, I just want to let you know I was here now.
All right, thanks, Randall.
Okay.
And then, and we're recording this so you can see the first few sections that you may have missed. Now, as the technician comes in, you're going to see a few items. They'll open it up, and in the corner it says My Tasks. And these tasks are ones that are either been assigned to them. You could assign it through Corridor Main, the interface. You could assign it through our team lead portion, which I will talk to later. Or a task could be claimed. So if I want to claim, I could select a task and reach down and on this side and hit claim. So the way this is set up is to eliminate all the paper transfer and hands out to the technicians from the leads. They could just come in and see real time what's assigned. So in the side you have My Tasks, then it's broken down into individual work orders. So you could click on the tiles to see what activity you're doing. And each one of these, you're going to see who's assigned to it. You can have multiple people assigned. The actual hours that are estimated on this, you're going to have details about what the aircraft is, what the designator is, what the work order is. And why this is all important, this data here, is we got really easy searches within this mobile app. So if I go to this main area again, and I want to see what's assigned to me, I'm going to put golf, I'm going to put right, and that should narrow it down to that one that we're looking at, because there was right in the description and it was a golf string. You could search for any criteria that's in any of these details to come up with the work order. So this works out well if you are in a situation where you aren't assigned, where people aren't assigned, where your technicians are claiming. So if I did here and I did tick off the filter, so I clicked on this little funnel and I took off the filter, I put apply. This is going to bring in all the open work orders. So if somebody is going to be searching for those open work orders, they could, search for Gulfstream, and then that's going to narrow it down to Gulfstreams. And then they could just keep on going down, fire, if something's fire extinguisher or something along that line, it's going to keep on narrowing it down. So it's an easy way to get access to information. But let's go back to my assigned task. Only include mine. Hit apply. There's no Gulfstream fire on my apply. So now I see what's doing. Now to work on these, all I have to do is click on one or multiple, and I can hit start labor. This is going to start my labor for those work orders that I'm working on. So you can divide it between the two if you need to. So these work orders, since I'm in this tile, let me walk through some of the things that you're going to see. You've got parts and consumables. So the parts here, you could request parts, you could view inventory. Let's request a part here. So I know this decal, let's see, I think it's 1,000, and let me do partial. Okay, which one do I have? Okay, so right here, this decal that started 1,000. I search for that. I'm going to need one of them. Let's see. I'm going to hit save. Like searching for the work orders, you could search under any criteria. So now that added one request or one part request. Oops, cancel that. I meant to click here. That's down here at the bottom. And a technician could also go in and say allocate from inventory. They could see the lot. They could select, and you could see what's available, pick your lot, and save. And if your process is set up, see, now it's requested. If your process is set up to allow people to accept this, they can print a pick ticket and scan it from a pick ticket, or they could just allocate from or accept the parts. They could select accept the parts. So it will give all that information. So it saves a little time. You don't have to run back to the barcodes. So that's individual part requests. We also have a bill of material. Let me jump into that later. But tools, same sort of thing. Like I checked this Fluke megameter was checked out. I could check that out again. And you would just type in, you know, partial details of what you're looking for. It's only going to let you check out if something's available. Okay, somebody already has this checked out, so I can't check this out. I'd have to go back in and find out where it is, but let's see if I could get lucky and find another tool that is not checked out. Okay, this tool is available here. So I selected this tool. I can check out one of these and check out. So that's going to add this into the work order that you have now a record of who checked out that tool, where that's going to be used. And then once you're finished with that, you could just check that in when you're done.
Don, I have a question for you. Well, typically they have to check out the tools from the tool room. So would they even use something like this, or would that just be assigned to their?
Tool could assign that to the mechanic, could they not?
So you could use it both ways. If they want to check it out from the tool crib, then they could set up the permissions where it's only whoever's handing it out at the tool crib could take that out.
Right.
Yeah. So the data that's here is going to show up in the work order in the same way that the tool checkout does from the tool crib. So that is something you could restrict if that is their process there.
That's great.
Where this scenario works out good is a lot of the AOG trucks going around where people are checking out tools when they're off-site, maybe not going to a tool crib. But if you don't have the permission, then these areas are blocked out.
Okay.
All right. Service demand. Oh, go ahead. Okay.
No, I don't have any questions. I'm going to shut my mic back off so I'm not making too much noise.
All right. Service demands is the same thing. You could, you know, your list of your defined service demands. You could add those here. that service demand is going to go to procurement for procurement to manage, the same way if you allocated a part or a tool or service demand from the corridor main. Steps, you're going to see all your steps associated, and it's in the same way you're going to be able to go in and start labor on those steps. You could add sub-steps if you want to, and that's another point that I wanted to make. On the overall work order, you can't create a work order from scratch from the mobile app, but you could go in and you could add tasks. So if you wanted to add an additional task, and you could just start typing in the discrepancy, or if you had a canned squawk and you had a partial name of it, you could add that, put it through, and then across the top here, and I know I'm jumping around a little bit, I just want to show you everything. It has some user-defined fields. At the time you add the discrepancy, you could go in and you could do your check-off boxes and add some information from your user-defined fields. The way it's set up right now, the only time you could edit those are during the time you add a task, but that's something that we're going to probably modify in the near future. So I'm going to hit add, and then that's going to populate that new task to this work order. So here's that fresh. It's got nothing associated with it yet. Once we get down, we talked about steps. On this canned squawk, I had the sign-off portion where I had a pre-generated logbook entry. You could go through and edit that however you want to do it. And then depending on the level that you have your inspections, whether it's a technician, single inspection, double inspection, functional test, these will show up only when those are required. So if I put in the resolution right now, then I could do the technician sign off. So I'm just going to put complied. Applied save. Now I could do the technician sign off. Are you sure you want to sign off this task? Yes. You'll have to have all the parts delivered. And I'm not sure if you guys are using PIN codes with your barcode scanner, but you could put in a PIN code to make sure you got 2 levels of authentication.
Yeah, we do. So it should require it for the sign off for the inspection.
Yes. So for that added step. Now, the squawk that I did, I guess one of my qualifications were expired, so it's not letting me sign off. And that's another thing. If you're using training and qualification, this is going to enforce where people cannot sign off or even log on a job if they aren't qualified to sign off. So,
that's really good.
Right. Let's go back to the home screen. So let's see, what else? We talked about the tiles. Up in the corner here, are you guys using time and attendance, the time and attendance module?
That's been the only thing that we've been using the corridor for, unfortunately. So we're trying to get it so we're,
Yeah, the way this is set up is this is your time and attendance clock in here. So when I logged on to those jobs, so I'm going to start labor here. Oh, I didn't stop labor, but okay, I want to stop labor. Okay, so I'm going to start labor here. My time and attendance clock is off. I'm going to start labor. Enter my passcode. See if I'm qualified. Okay. Well, don't know what that happened. That's new. Okay, so that's going to give, when I log on labor, it's going to automatically start my time clock. And that's going to stay on through the day. At the end of your shift, you click that off, and then you're clocked out for the day. So you have that time and attendance integrated with the labor, and it's really just one place that they have to manage that. We talked about all the sign-offs and all the things you could do here. One thing that you could do here that you can't do in regular corridor is you could take a picture. So you could use your camera, and if I was on a tablet, then I could select the camera view and then snap a picture to be able to see within this file, or it's located in the Files tab in Corridor Main. You could also attach an attachment if I want to attach attachments. Now, if anything's in your file attachment, such as instructions and all that, you will be able to see those. Let's see if I could find a work order that has some attachments. We open that up, and if I go to attachments, yeah, I've got various attachments here that I could view, and you could take pictures with that too. Let's see. We talked about sign-offs. We talked about the PIN codes. We talked about attachments, time off. You can accept parts through a pick ticket if you wanted to do that route instead of doing the manual. Add tasks, all that. So what I'm going to do is on this work order here, so I search for the 427, I'm going to click on this, and it's assigned to another team lead, but I'm going to take this away from them, so I'm working on it. So I'm going to claim that. So now I'm the team lead, and now I could show you different functionality. So as a team lead, I would go in, and this is a permission base, I would go into the assignments view. And I've got various work orders that I'm a team lead on. Let's see, let me find the 427 one that I was just looking at. I'll look for that, and I'm going to open that up. And as a team lead, right now it's only showing my team and, you know, myself and one others of what's assigned, because I have this filtered down where I'm not showing all the team leads. So let me go in. I'm going to put myself as a team lead here. And I have in Corridor Main a group of people that are part of my team. So that should have, here, let me click and go back. Okay, there it goes. Oh, that's only searching when I'm in. Okay, so I'm back on my team lead. So since I added that, then it's going to show everybody that's on my team. Do you guys have fixed teams from a team lead? Is it by department? Is it ad hoc? How do you guys normally do that?
Randall's going to have to tell us about that one.
Well, I think that they just get assigned to the different, a team lead gets his own group, and then they swap people as they need to. So let's say Brian Parr gets Andy Yao, which he's actually an inspector, but we're just going to use his name for an example right now. And once Andy finishes that, Andy may transfer over to another group.
Okay. No, that makes sense. So what I've done here is under Maintain System, and then you can go to Teams, and I'm going to open up, and I got Team Dickson here. So these are the members of my team that are typically fixed. So, but they could be used someplace else. So those are the ones that are showing up. Oops, I closed out there. Let me get rid of that. So those are the ones showing up here. But the way you can filter this out is that's my team, and then I just ad hoc added these individuals. So I could add Brett, or, you know, I could add, you know, Brian here, and he'll become part of that team. You could also do departments. So if I put avionics and hit apply, there should be quite a few more people that are adding to my team, you know, that you're going to be able to see added into that area. Now, what we're doing in this portion of it, so we've got the team, and it's as simple as assigning a task. It's like, okay, I want to assign this task. I've got 2 working on it. I don't want to work on it anymore, so I'm going to click off where I'm not assigned, and I'm going to click on Fred, and now Fred is assigned. When he opens his tablet, he will see the task number that's assigned to them. So it's a quick way to see, who's assigned to a particular job by work order. No data there. Let's see. Then here we've got nobody assigned working here, so you could just click on the individual to assign. Now, when you're trying to determine 427 keeps on disappearing for me. I use that as a reference here. But when you're trying to determine who's working where, we've got a few dashboards that are built in. So one, we've got a work order dashboard. And this is helpful to see who's assigned and who's not assigned. So we have 30 unassigned tasks, and a lot of those may be completed and may not be assigned. These ones are assigned. These are the due dates till completion. If it was behind schedule or past completion, this would show red, but we got 75 days here. These are the status of each of one of those work orders, whether they're open, need to work. These are assigned and somebody's working on them. Regulatory, a lot of people like this. This is where a inspector could come in and they could either click in this field or they could do it under the technician view. They could sort for regulatory and see what's waiting for inspection. So they could go right there. And then this view is what's completed. Down here, it shows you status of parts. All these tasks require no parts. If there's one open part, it will say that there's outstanding parts or in progress available here. And then estimated versus actual hours. So a very quick view of the health of a work order. And then you can break it down even further on technicians. You can see what technicians are assigned to the job and what status of it's in progress, what they're working on, how many hours that they've logged in. And then if you want to see beyond that one work order, you could just click on a name, and then it's going to show you all the other work orders that they are working on also. And then you could also just drill in from this side to find out those work orders they're working on. So I'm going to jump back to the technician side, and let's say I wanted to see what needs to be inspected. I could go to this filter, and I could do status by regulatory and hit apply. And hopefully, yeah, there's one that's waiting for inspection that's assigned to me. If I wanted to see overall, I could take the ones that include only my task, hit apply, and this is every open work order or a squawk that needs to be inspected. So is the filter making sense on how you could narrow it down to where things are, what's assigned to you, and you could do it by ATA codes, zones. Work center, work center is only for like component overhaul shops where it has separate stations, but it's the easy way to filter there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's very good.
It looks good to me.
And then back on the assignments view, it's the same to narrow down, same sort of filters. You got a few more filter options. You could do it by lead technician. What's done, you could do it by the technician filters of who's working on it, your teams, your departments. And then you could also narrow it down on the task. Searching same way as the other one. I could search regulatory to just see which ones are there. Just a quick note, if you're doing a search in the team assignments view, if I'm doing a search here, it's only going to search for details under this work order. So if this is a 1,000 squawk work order and you needed to search for inspection or something, it's going to just narrow it down to those squawks that have inspection in it. If I go to this view all work order, this is going to search by aircraft, work order number, all the details. So if I wanted to see if there's a PC-12, PC-12. Okay, so these are all the work orders related to PC-12. You could find that quickly. If I needed to see what needs a filter change, spelled it wrong on purpose, but I spelled it really wrong. Okay, so let's see if there's nothing there for filter change. And okay, so I did partial of paint. These are the work orders that are associated with paint or paint. So I'll narrow those down. So that's the main side, or that's the main functionalities of Go. Oh, I missed one item here. Bill of material management. If you create a work order and you need to request parts, you could just do it in bulk. You could select all your parts, and then you could hit batch procure to assign all your parts. So this is a different view for just people who are going to manage the parts.
That's awesome.
All right. Just on setup side, there's a few things that we would need to cover. So on a setup, and sorry my RDP is not expanded all the way, so hopefully you can see it.
Yeah, we see it fine on our end.
Okay, great. If I go in, File, Open, take my name, I'm going to show you where you're going to need the permissions for this. So for a team lead, you're going to have to make sure this is designated right here. Under the work order, this user is designated as a team lead. That will allow you to see that assignments view and those dashboards that I showed you. So that's an option there. And it's also, you could also click it on planning and scheduling. Right there, you could also designate there as a team lead. And then for your technicians, for them to use this, they'll have to go to permissions and then work order. And there's really not, there's just the one mobile labor, let's see, right here, this mobile labor. That is what a technician needs to have access to be able to use their credentials to log into the website. So so that does your labor, but if you don't have permissions in the regular, such as checking out tools or requesting parts or things like that, those will just be blocked out into the main in the mobile app view where you don't see those. And then like team leads, you could assign that from the corridor main from a squawk. If you did that, you could assign the team lead. You could assign the who's going to work on things, and all that's going to translate real time to the mobile app. So it's pretty simple and straightforward. A lot easier for a lot of the technicians to use compared to the larger system. So and we're finding that you're getting better data in the system because technicians aren't waiting until the end of the shift to update the system. They're doing it as they're working. They have their tablet with them. They log on, do their updates, and log off. So your whole organization is seeing data more real time. Now,
Don, can I ask you something real quick? You keep talking about using the tablets and stuff. When we tried a tablet out here, but the sun was just too bright for it. Is there a particular tablet that you guys have found worked pretty good for this system?
You know, I don't know about the sun portion for you because I haven't. Most of the time, I've seen people using it as in a hangar where they aren't having an issue. But we typically use Galaxy Tab S or any of the Tab Galaxies, the half-size one works quite well. The phones are a little, you could use a phone, it's just, it doesn't scale that great, but if you needed to use a phone, you could do that. Just one thing I forgot to mention, when your guys are using it, you could set your own timeouts for the mobile app, and you could go through Aero Services and say 5 minutes inactive, and it will time out. You should get your guys in the habit of signing out, because even if you just close down the app without signing out, it's still going to keep that user open. So you'll want them to have it sign out to free up your users. But
yeah, I keep telling them here, we've been pushing that whole policy is that, hey guys, if you're not using Corridor, get out of it. They can leave the remote desktop open, but everything else needs to get closed.
All right. On the main Corridor, are you doing individual timeouts for people?
No, you guys just have it set for like a 3-hour timeout or something along those lines.
Okay, you can change that per individual. So
in Corridor, or where do I change that?
Yeah, let me. Did I? I think I closed out my RDP. Let me go back. Oh, there it is. Okay. So under that tool, Administrative User Manager, let's go back and open up mine. For Corridor main, you could say right here, shut down in, 2 minutes of inactivity or 10 minutes. And this is at an individual user. So you could go in like your procurement or your parts people, you may not want them to have a shutdown, but your guys out on the floor, you may want to have this at like 5-10 minutes. If they aren't using it, it will automatically knock them out. So RDP will stay open, Corridor will close. So.
I like that feature.
That's way cool.
Yeah, but on the mobile app, it's not an individual timeout. It's just a blanket one for the mobile. It's you set it for 5-10 minutes for everybody.
How does that look when you have a group of 3 guys going out in a truck and they're using the single device? How are they clocking in and clocking out as individuals on that one device?
Okay, so on that one device, they would just have to log in and log out, and they could have different tabs open to see those different, different tabs. Well, if they open the tab, it's going to expire real quick. But let's go back to, if I just log it, I'm signed out here, each one of them would just come in and just do their sign in once, their time clock will start, and then I'll go to a job and start labor, enter my passcode, and then I'll log off, and then the next person could sign in.
Okay, so it's the same thing as we do now.
Yep.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
All right. Any other questions about the mobile app or anything in general?
No, this is going to be real helpful. Show the team, what it's going to look like.
I have a question for you. If you're using, say, a Chromebook instead of a tablet,
it works fine.
Can you hook up a USB scanner to that, or that's completely out of the question with Go?
Go does not really require a USB or any scanner. So Go is, our theory behind it was we're getting rid of the scanner when you go to Go. So the only thing that you would use the camera scanner for right now is to accept a pick ticket for parts. But there's not really any other functionality within Corridor Go that would read a scanner.
Okay, so Corridor Go pretty much eliminates the scanner, so they just have to type everything in by hand then, right?
Type in by hand, or some people use voice recognition. I used what was it, Swipe Dragon. That seems to work pretty good, and you could have it learn aviation terms with that too, so they could voice dictate. Or if you guys are good with your canned squawks, you could have canned resolutions where you could just select those as a drop-down menu for your resolutions to fill out. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Okay. Have you guys actually tried anything but tablets? Or have you gotten any feedback from anybody using like Chromebooks?
I've demoed it on Chromebooks. Works fine. So Chrome is definitely our browser of choice. That is the initial development. So Chromebooks are great. Any desktop or notebook or Surface using Chrome works great. Firefox seems to work fine too. Internet Explorer does not work. We haven't supported that. And the Apple iOS seems to work pretty good too.
Now, which one did you say doesn't work?
Internet Explorer, Microsoft Internet Explorer. It used to work, and something was changed, and I don't even think Microsoft supported that. They're supporting Edge now. Haven't tried it on Edge, but yeah, if you stick with Chrome and Firefox, you'll be fine.
That's fine. I think 90% of the people like Chrome or Firefox. Well, actually, Chrome over everything else anyway.
Correct. And then one thing I didn't mention, if you, well, I think I did mention, you could launch attachments and files. So if you had something that was downloaded, included in a squawk instruction set, you could open that up in the browser and see that along with working in Corridor. So that's a really nice feature.
Okay.
All right. Any other general Corridor questions while you have me?
No, sir. As long as I can get a link to this recording.
Yes, I will send the recording over to you. Check your junk mail just in case it doesn't come through. I'm going to send it with WeTransfer. I don't know if you've ever used that before, but it allows me to send the large files.
Okay, great.
And then I will request to get this turned on in your test environment, so you could start looking at it in your real data or your test data and play around.
Sweet.
So,
all right.
Once you get it turned on, if you have any questions, give me a call. I'm going to be traveling until the middle of next week, but send me an email if you have a question, or wait till Wednesday, and I'll be able to help you out.
No problem. Thanks, Don.
All right.
Thank you, Don.
Bye.
All right, bye.